All right, good afternoon, Cyber Traders. To close out our week this Friday, August 19th. Great to see Leda. Great to see Michael. So long to Lawrence. Lawrence wrote to us just a moment ago early at 2:11. He wrote, I'm out of here. You all have a great weekend. So he already left. Great weekend to Lawrence, but great to see Nina, Kathleen, Michael, Brian, who is labeling today as a crummy day. Great to see you. You can't see me. I know I don't have the webcam up right now. Mailing it in here for this Friday afternoon, not mailing it in terms of the market, in terms of the opportunities that we can make, but nonetheless, here we are, folks. Oxy is up near 10% right now at the highs heading into this afternoon here. So easily enough, I'm just going to start off by putting Oxy on our watch list here for the afternoon. Pretty funny. I brought up a pretty funny story just at the market open this morning on the stock Oxy. But nonetheless, with that in mind, the news out on this trade, we weren't expecting this to come out at the time that it did, but Oxy shares trading higher following reports suggesting Berkshire Hathaway, obviously Buffett, has requested approval to accumulate up to a 50% stake. Now that's pretty important, right? Just, that news alone. All right, well, that led to an initial run up. Thankfully, this led to a higher high across this afternoon up until here as it's approaching 71.50. So it ended up testing resistance off of roughly 69, probably 68.80-ish. Nope, right on the nose there, 69. Great. Makes it even easier for me to say, well, hey, once it broke that order, once it broke above 69, yes, it pulled right back from it, but that's buying interest. What happens if history could repeat itself? So with that, once it rebroke 69, it used that as support, led to a higher high easily enough. So, for right now, Oxy will definitely put on our main list here. Now, a couple of other stocks that may be moving up near the highs, although the markets don't look good. SPY's looking pretty ugly here heading into the afternoon, just clear downtrend, lower highs. BTU energy stock, Peabody Energy. I mean, it's moving in sympathy here with Oxy. So Oxy, albeit is much more expensive, that is a really liquid stock, and that's the type of stock that I look for. So, hey, Oxy is normally on our side list day to day. The more expensive it gets, then I'm not going to be normally as interested. But with the move that we're seeing off the news, how could we not? Now with BTU here, it's just not moving fast enough. So it's like moving in sympathy, but I'd rather follow Oxy. It's more volatile, more bang for my buck, honestly, on that compared to the slow poke here BTU. This hasn't broken a new high yet, whereas Oxy is still ripping. All right, so what we'll do, folks, to just expedite time here, we'll go from top to bottom. I wouldn't expect for there to be a whole lot moving upward, perhaps aside from like an oil stock or, an energy stock here or there, like we just said with Oxy and BTU. The GCT trade, perhaps I should include that, although it's not an oil or energy stock. Giga Cloud Technology, GCT, new IPO, ended up making this big pop after the market opened up. Hey, we had this on our main morning watch list. It'd be hard for us to ignore that then, but it was so thinly traded then. Just look at the order book live right now. I mean, compare this to Oxy. This was moving up and actually just broke a new high a moment ago as it topped off right at $60. Didn't even false break it, but I'm sure it tested the volume there at 60 and only led to a 7-point drop. So, if you're looking to, play a little blackjack later, if you're looking to, roll the dice, play a little craps or the slot machines, then this GCT is right up your alley. But for the 76 of us inside this live trading room, it's a little low for the trading room, but that's a Friday afternoon in the middle of the summer. So, a lot of us already left for the day. Like we said just before with Lawrence, this is not the type of stock that you want to trade on any sort of respectable share size. Do it like on one share, really. One of us, I think, maybe made like 30, 35 points on this trade. Sounds great. I doubt they were trading a lot of shares on this, folks. That would be an extreme gamble. So GCT, hey, if you want to roll the dice, go ahead. But I'd rather not. Let's see what else we could at least put on our main watch list here for this afternoon. Now, better now than never, I reckon. The AGLE trade, and this actually ended up making a beautiful run earlier heading into the late morning. Suddenly made a bounce from 70 cents and then blew right over my resistance line off of 87. That's where we had the VWAP during the morning meeting. I was hopeful to see that, break above the VWAP in pre-market there. Obviously failed to do so. It used that actually as a bit of a support, but it's failed to break back over that price here at this point. So, AGLE is a cheapie. It would be much safer to trade this stock than GCT, but I don't really have a great need, great necessity to put that on our main list either. DNAA, not to be confused with DNA, not to be confused with DNA, DNAY. Before I confuse myself, DNAA. Oh, that was 3 A's. There we go. All right, DNAA. DNA here, social capital, whatever. All right, ended up making a big squeeze off low volume here. You could just see based off the lack of the volume bars here up until 1:30 Eastern time when it probably reopened up off its like second halt from then. So this ended up making a nice pump, but again, just very thin volume on the book right now. It's on a 9 cent spread. VLCN here is pretty nasty, although this was or is and has been pretty liquid. This was a nasty shake back down. I was hopeful to see this really hold a higher low off of 320, 315-ish, 320, and then for it to run up higher, make a nice recovery from how much it dropped off over the last few months. But obviously failed to do so there. Ended up wasting a big unrealized profit on this trade. I made 8 cents on this trade, but I was up like near 30 at the time. So things were looking really good off this level from 3, and then from there pulled back. I got out in time, thankfully, but it's to say, and this is like kind of a good representation of our whole day, maybe aside from GCT and now Oxy, but aside from those, it's been really difficult to get a clean runner here across the morning or across the afternoon. Brian said before as we started this meeting, it's been a crummy day as a whole. I'd say so. Yeah, a lot of us feel that way. So, just when you wanted more on this trade, it didn't give it to you. And then from there, completely crapped out. So, VLCN is done for right now. And again, just any others that ended up making a move. It was off a very thin volume on level 3, so it makes it much harder to anticipate. FL, liquid, but hasn't really gone much of anywhere as like a $38 stock. Maybe later this afternoon, it could look to make its big pop here to make a new high over 40. But I'll come back to this at the end if I need to. It wouldn't hurt us to put the Foot Locker trade back on, but I want something that's right near the high, something that is like trending up very nicely, perhaps even a little bit cheaper than Foot Locker, $38 stock there. We already have Oxy on our main list, and that is only continuing to rip. In fact, it looks like the volume is beginning to peak here on the last couple of bars. I would look for a pullback. I would look for a pullback on this trade here coming up, folks. I know it's trending up beautifully, but if the volume begins to die off coming up on the next 1 or 2 bars on Oxy, I would watch out for a bit of a pullback. All right, so I'll skip down here because I see the SPY dropping off, the S&P ETF there. UVXY perhaps perking up heading into the afternoon. It's up over 8% now at this point, so probably some more eyeballs will be on it heading into the weekend. So UVXY, I don't mind just at least keeping a good eye on here. Pets, not doing a whole lot there. And again, like I'd said before, I'm not expecting a whole lot to be on the gainer side otherwise, name brand wise or any of that. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing here. I will jump, what was it, FAZE, that like new gaming IPO. It looked like it was moving up pretty nicely before. That's also on pretty thin volume there too. So I'm going to pass on that phase trade, but let's hop over to the losers list. Bed Bath Beyond. We're just not going to follow here for the close. I just wanted to show it briefly because, and actually a little chart there for you. I ended up following this with a few different traders throughout coaching during my day today. We charted some levels, and this ended up paying off pretty nicely off a few different pre-market levels and from the after hours levels from yesterday off of 1070, broke under and over, eventually broke over 11 here heading into the late morning, early afternoon, ended up running up beautifully from that point, ended up breaking above big resistance off of 1215 even, but came quickly back down under there. If it's not going to re-break and hold above that price, then you may as well expect this type of drop. Just given how much bad news and press is out on Bed Bath Beyond now after, Ryan Cohen ended up selling his whole position. Not only is there like bad press, negativity towards the company and how much it's already dropped off. But now you have all of these like uneducated, traders on Robinhood, that they're expecting this to go up to 50 or 100 and, to see it fly and be the next GameStop. Yeah, not exactly, folks. most of us learn the hard way. Most of us learn the real hard way. So, whether that's through a day trade or holding on to a big position, I mean, hey, just look at the crypto market the last, 10 months or so, right? So, unless if you're looking to hold on, then you probably learned the hard way there. You probably learned the hard way after the markets peaked throughout COVID. And then now here on Bed Bath Beyond, I mean, what goes up comes back down, but you don't expect the news to come out as it came out yesterday. And this only had plummeted back down here. So, for the afternoon, unless if you could short it, I'm not going to look to keep an eye on this Bed Bath Beyond trade. There might be a couple of brokers out there that are still offering you the ability to short it, but most aren't. If you're in our trading room right now, then if you're able to short Bed Bath Beyond or not, right? And there's a couple of us that are. So for those, then I would put it on your list. But otherwise, let's see what else is out there here. The Stone trade. Speaking of shorts, Stone ended up leading to a beautiful drop off this morning. So this was on the losers list to begin our day, and we had this on our morning watch list for that reason in mind. It only dropped off right away after the market opened up, ended up breaking lower off of 9. Rich was all over that inside our live trading room, and then from there bottomed out even at 825, I was going to say just under 850, but it dropped off even 25 cents from there and even led to a nice dead cat bounce since. Right now, I feel like at this point, it's going to be a little slow here heading into the close. It would, maybe later around like 315, 330, we'll check back in on it, but we'll see what else is out there. Stitch Fix. Firm. How about this? AFRM. Wow. I personally missed out on this trade all throughout the morning here. I mean, you had to assume with the market dropping off that there would be a few good shorts out there. But I'll tell you, even myself, I was more drawn to the gainers. I was looking for a cheap stock to make a nice move up. So I ended up missing even Stone myself, STNE as a short. I ended up missing a Firm, which is just a good stock from our side list. Right now, at this point, it's pretty flat for the afternoon, so I'm not going to be as keen to put it on our afternoon list, but definitely reminds me of just saying, hey, let me keep a Firm on my radar for next week for Monday. 23andMe, for as much as this went up over the last, first half of this month, ever since it's only been dropping off. I guess you could say that's a good short too, but the Affirm stock, we've been more apt to trade. That's popped up on our radar a lot more frequently here. Maybe 23andMe. It is very liquid, but a little slow though for right now. All right, just going to pull up the bottom of the losers list here. Not much really that looks like a name brand stock. I saw like the Maras, the Riots, unless if Bitcoin's really dropping off right now, I wouldn't be as keen to follow those. The cheaper they get, the slower they'll get, and it's not going to be as good. Mike says, so he was correct himself. He said array down big, but he meant Affirm. That trader's dyslexia, right, Mike? I mean, it's all of us. And then the longer that you're with us inside our room, you're going to mix up your A's, your S's, and you got Scott in between saying AXSM. All right, so AXSM. I mean, same deal with this as like the GCT trade, right? GCT was at least running up a lot better heading into this meeting. Hey, I'm going to say this to every one of us right now, not just inside the live trading room, but on social media. If you're consistently making like $500 a day, or even on a stock like this, more than that, if you're making $1,000 a day consistently, then you should be following GCT. Then you should be following AXSM. If you're not, then there's just much better stocks to follow. Come on, we know that, right? If you had a good week, then why waste it on this stock and if to get in at right place, wrong time, and then to not set your stop on time, and then to get smoked. So there's a high risk of trading these types of stocks, Scott. So the GCT, this needs to keep pushing up. It has pushed up beautifully today, but doesn't mean it's going to continue. So I'm going to pass on that AXSM trade, Norberto. From Norman, he's asking I'm sorry. We have Norman, but then we have Norberto now. I'm just saying Tesla. Tesla's going to be too expensive. We don't really day trade an $890 stock. If you're a new student joining us here, not even new student, but even just a new trial member or new member to our room, if you don't have access to our classes, please make sure that you talk to your education advisor. They're at least able to give you details as to what's going on inside this trading room, what we typically look for, etc. I'm not going to be calling out Tesla here. All right, folks. Anything else, though, within our price range? Anything else that is, I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. Tesla is trending back up to a good degree. If it was a lot cheaper, then I'd be pretty interested. But just checking my Benzinga Pro right now as I ask you. And I'll tell you, not a whole lot that we're really missing. Just go through a couple here. Party City from earlier this morning. I mean, this thing looks pretty slow now. MITQ, there's not much going on the chart. MOBQ, nope. I mean, these are all stocks that are like making like a little tiny push right now as we're talking, but that doesn't mean they're looking good whatsoever. So a lot of these pretty much are finished up from the morning session. Not much on the loser's side for my Benzinga Pro either. Norman asking blue, but it's been flat since the open. Yeah, if it's flat, then it's not going to be for me. Unless if it's this is at the highs technically, right? But it dropped off so much from yesterday that, unless if there's a strong bounce in the market, I wouldn't necessarily expect this to make a big continuated push. It might make a false breakout, come right back down and tank after. Hey, it is shortable. So in that case, right, that would lead to a nice trade opportunity. Don't get me wrong. And blue, definitely is a tradable stock, but like you had said, Norman, definitely flat here. XLE. Nah. Again, please, at this point, folks, if you are a new member to Cyber Trading University, if you have not spoken to your education advisor yet, you're just doing yourself a gigantic disservice. So whether it be today, whether it be Monday next week, just either way, make sure that you call our office, 516-280-5350. You could also email them if you do already have their email address, but they'll be able to at least give you some insight as to what we actually look for here, throughout the day, not just during these meetings, but scanning around. That 99% of our students or members inside our room right now are doing what I'm doing here. They're following stocks within a particular price range based off liquidity. I'll tell you what, folks, so far I look down at my notepad here. I only put 2 stocks on our main list. We got actually only 1 stock. Got Oxy, and then UVXY is an ETF. So my thoughts on trading ETFs anyway. Unless if you're consistently doing well on them day over day, I'd be more keen to follow a stock. Now at this point, we haven't really gone through any of the side list stocks, so maybe there could be something that's dropping off. That's near the lows at least. That could be a good short that we haven't looked at just yet. So I look at just some side list stocks like NEO, it's flat. Plug, it's pretty flat itself. Casino stocks like Penn. Penn took a bit of a hit this morning. Looks like it's trying to inch up a little bit now, but man, I'll tell you, nothing really standing out from our quote unquote side list. Nothing really that looks as weak as the SPY here at this point. Andre says, looks like you were right about Oxy going down. When the volume dies off. There we go. Now, is it going to continue? Hopefully. Hopefully. Still looks strong in relation to the initial trend it made, but that was a lot of selling that came in, a lot of volume altogether off that 72. So not too surprising given how much it already ran up. It's going to come back down a little bit. All right, so folks, I'll tell you, very brief, very short list here heading into this afternoon, but we'll look to rescan the market over the next 10, 15, 20 minutes. If you want to join us inside our live trading room for that, I know that we'll have Rich on audio from 3 to 4 here heading into the close. Make sure if you're on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, you go right down to the link on the yellow banner below to sign up for a trial. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend there. Otherwise, for Andre, Jeffrey, Norberto, Norman, I got to make sure my tongue is not tied. There we go. It's already tied there. Norman, Gene, Brian, Michael, Kathleen, Nina, Leda, etc. If I don't catch you folks going into the market close, enjoy your weekend as well. Keep in mind, phase 2 of our stock trading course will be live next week. So we'll make sure that we send out the reminders through email, and obviously the links for that through email as well as inside this room come Monday. All right, folks, enjoy the weekend. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just